Welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to On Page SEO our article. And that means that we're going to add in a bunch of SEO-friendly features like internal links, outbound links, images, meta descriptions, and even make sure that those images have SEO-friendly descriptions in them. So there's a lot more to SEO than just creating an SEO-friendly article. We're also going to make sure that this article is indeed SEO-friendly for the keyword that we have chosen. So what we're going to do is make sure that we save this article by going up to the right corner and click on Save Draft. Then we're going to exit by going to the left and click on View Posts. Go down to Plugins, Install Plugins. Then scroll all the way to the bottom and you should find Yoast SEO. Now this is an all-in-one SEO tool that is going to SEO check your entire article for you and come with recommendations. If you don't have this tool in the Install Plugin section, just go to Add New Plugin, search for Yoast, and then activate it. Then we're going to head back by going to Posts, All Posts. Here is our post, so we're going to just click on it. And now we're going to scroll down to the bottom and we're going to find a section here that says Yoast SEO. We're going to click here to expand it. There we go. And now this is where the magic happens. We can use a focus key phrase, meaning we can put in our keyword in here and see if this article is indeed optimized for that keyword. And if not, what the recommendations are to optimize it further. And this tool is, just like everything else, completely free. So I'm going to click here and we're going to write in our keyword, best hiking water bottle. So as you can see, it's not quite as happy as it is with our readability. So what we're going to do is check what the recommendations are for improvement, and we're simply going to do them. So I'm going to scroll down where it says SEO analysis, open it up, and then see what the problems are. So we have 5 good results. That's good. And then we have 9 problems, and we're going to check them off one by one. So the first one is outbound links. And by the way, if there's something you want to know more about here, you can just click on this. If I click on outbound links, for example, there's going to be an article about outbound links, what they are and how they work. I mean, that's mostly what I'm here for, but if you want even more information than what I'm bringing you, you can just click on them here and learn more about them. Now, an outbound link is a link that links to another website. This is a way for Google and any other search engine for that matter to understand that this is a credible article, because it's not only about itself, it uses sources. And those sources tell the search engine that there's more credibility in this article. So that is why we use them. So an outbound link can be a link to any article. It could be to Wikipedia, it could be to a similar blog, but it needs to make sense in the article. So let me give you an example. We can see it at this part where it says how UVC water purification works. There's a section that talks about UVC light effectively neutralizes harmful microbiomes by disrupting their DNA. Okay, what we could do is put a link here to UVC light so they can learn even more about it, and that could be our outbound link. So I'm gonna go to Google and search for UVC technology. And then I'm going to click on this link, the Honeywell Aerospace. And here's an article about how UVC technology works. And this is perfect. So this is a credible source, Aerospace Technologies. Why? Well, first of all, because it ranks high up on the keyword, so that means that Google trusts it. And secondly, it goes perfectly in line with what we're looking for. We're trying to link a UVC description, and here is a UVC description. And the search engines understand these sort of intentions, so that makes sense. If you just put the outbound link to something random, the search engines will punish you instead and rank you lower for it. So everything has to make sense, and everything is about the best possible user experience, so the reader has the best experience they can with your article. So I'm going to grab this link, copy it, then I'm going to select this text that says UVC light, click up here at this link button, paste in the URL, and then click on submit. And there we go, now it's linked. So now if I scroll down to my Yoast recommendation, we should see outbound links. Good job, fantastic. So a check mark on that one. Next up, we don't have any images on this page, so we're gonna go ahead and fix that right away. Now, there are multiple types of images that you can use. First off, if we go to post up here, we can set our featured image, meaning when they go into the blog article of our website, which we call Explore, there is eventually going to be a bunch of different articles in there. And we want to have an appropriate image that's going to symbolize all these different articles. This one is about the best hiking water bottle, so we want to have a hiking theme. What we can do very easily if you don't have your own material, if you're working with a client, make sure that you ask them for material first. But what we can do is move to set featured image, click there, and then go down to where it says pixels free photos. Here we can just search for any photo. So let me search for hiking, for example. Scroll down, and let's say that this is going to go well hand in hand with what I'm looking for. I don't want to have a long photo, but rather I want to have a horizontal format. So this is the photo we're going to use. I'm going to click on it, click on select, and now it's added in. Now, of course, if you want to add more images to your article, you could just go anywhere. Let's say that you want to add it in between these two paragraphs, hit enter, click on the plus over here, search for image. There it is, click on it, then click on select image. You can go to pixels here, or you can go to unsplash.com as well, where you can get completely free images, or you could upload your own in the media library. But let's say that we're going to use pixels. I'm going to search for campers. Let's say I want to use this image, click on select, and now we have yet another image in our article. If you don't want the credibility text down here, you could just select that and remove it, and then there won't be that caption. There we go. These images are completely free to use, and you're allowed to use them for commercial purposes as well. Just make sure that you don't just add images for the sake of having images. You want to add in images that adds to your content and improves the user experience. But with that said, we're gonna scroll down and we can see that this is images, good job. So we check that off as well. Next is going to be internal links. Now, internal links are very simple. That is linking within your own website. So you could link to other articles you have written so that they could learn more. Let's say that you decide to write an article yourself on UVC technology. Well, then that UVC technology part or UVC light part could link to your own article. That would be an internal link. But we also want to make sure that we link to our own product. Down here at the text, it says having access to clean and safe water is non-negotiable when hiking. The Smart Flow bottles offers an effortless way to purify water. Now, the Smart Flow bottle, let's say we're just going to do the Smart Flow bottle part, this could be linking to our product. So I'm going to click on it, and then I could just link to one of the water bottles. I could either go and grab the URL from the website itself, or I could just search for it. For example, we know that we have a graphite black. So if I search for graphite, we can see that the product appears in here. We don't want to use the attachments and we don't want to use the front page, but rather the product itself. I'm gonna click there, and now we put a link to our own product. If we want to check it out, just click here and then click on this URL, and it's going to take us to our product page. Perfect. Let's scroll down, and we can see that now we also have an internal link. Fantastic. Your key phrase or its synonyms do not appear in the first paragraph. Make sure the topic is clear immediately. Let's go ahead and make sure that our keyword appears in the first paragraph. So for example, here where it says, whether you're trekking through the mountains, navigating forest trails, or camping in remote locations, having a reliable water source is crucial. I'm just gonna change this text. Having the best hiking water bottle is crucial. So now we've used our keyword in the first paragraph. So I'm gonna scroll down, and there we go. Key phrase in introduction, well done. It's looking pretty good. I think it's gonna start getting happier and happier here soon. Maybe even a smile. And then we have the meta description. No meta description has been specified. Search engines will display a copy of the page instead. The meta description is this part. This is the actual search result, the way it's going to be looking in the search engines. And if you don't write in a meta description yourself, which is this part, then it's just going to grab the first introductory phase, this part from your website. And that's not going to be optimized for the search engine. So what we want to do is write our own. The easiest way to do that is to just go to ChatGPT and use the same conversation that you use to create your SEO friendly article, because it will completely understand what your article is all about. So we can write something very simple like, write me an SEO friendly meta description to use in Yoast. We don't need to add in any more information because it already has our article. And if you created your article by yourself, or you got it from a client or something similar, then what you could do is just make some spaces here and insert the article on top here so that it understands what the article is all about, and then just write me an SEO friendly meta description to use in Yoast, and I'm gonna send it away. Then I'm going to grab this part without the quotation marks, copy it, go down to where it says meta description, paste it in, and here we go. Look at that, we're even getting a smile now, not bad. So what we're looking for here is to make sure that our keyword is being used. So it says, discover the best hiking water bottle with UVC purification for safe, clean hydration on the go. Perfect. Now there's too much text in here, so I'm just gonna start removing some because it won't show anyway. See that this bar is still full, which means that there's still too much text. I'm gonna remove this. I'm just gonna keep removing until we get a green. There we go. So I'm just gonna do 3 dots like this. No, I'm just going to do a dot like that, so it's all green. So that means that this is for sure going to be showing on the mobile version and on the desktop version. So that's all we're looking for. And then we're going to move down, a key phrase in subheadings. Use more key phrases or synonyms in your H2 and H3 subheadings. So what is this? Well, it basically means that our subheadings, which are all of these different headers, are not using our keyword enough. So we have hassle-free water purification. All we're going to do now is just search through the article and see where we can fit it in naturally. So what I'm going to do for this article is that I'm just going to grab this section that is a paragraph. I'm going to click here and change it into a heading, just like this. And then, why hikers love the SmartFlow bottle, I'm instead going to write, why hikers need the best hiking water bottle. There we go. Gonna scroll down. Key phrase in subheading. We still need another one. So I'm gonna do the same with this one. Final thoughts. I'm gonna change the paragraph into a heading, and I'm just going to write final thoughts on the best hiking water bottle. Now let's scroll down. It's still not good enough, so we need to add in yet another one. So in here, in the beginning of the text, I'm going to hit enter to create a new block. Click the plus. I'm going to create a heading, and I'm going to write the search for the best hiking water bottle. And now let's scroll down. Make sure that you click somewhere else so that it has time to register. And yes, indeed, it is approved. Now what we have left is the SEO title width. The SEO title width is wider than the viewable limit. Try to make it shorter. So we're going to scroll up and we're just going to make this shorter. I'm just going to change the title up, best hiking water bottle, and then remove how to, and I'm going to write ensure safe hydration outdoors. Let's see if this is good enough. Indeed it is. So there's just one more thing now. Image key phrase. Images on this page do not have alternate attributes with at least half of the words. So let's just scroll up again. Gonna go into this image, for example, and then where you see to the right here, it says alternative text, a man holding a paper map. We could, for example, instead write searching for the best hiking water bottle. So we're once again using our key phrase in the alternative text. So this alternative text is going to show if, for example, the image would fail to load, then you would see this text there instead. And also for those who are visually impaired, they can hover their mouse over and just hold it there, and there will be a description of what this image is supposed to be about. So you want the text to make sense with the image. You just don't want to write something random. But most importantly as well, the search engines will use it to understand your image and better understand your article. So now let's scroll all the way down and see if we got a thumbs up. And indeed we did. So now everything is green. And this is the process we want to go through each and every time when we are doing on-page SEO for our content. And we always want to do on-page SEO for all of our content before we publish it. This is how we make sure that we will rank and generate traffic to our website. And that is where the results are going to come for our digital marketing strategy. So now let's move to the upper right corner and click on publish. And then once again, publish. And there we go. Now let's click on view post to see how it looks like. And here is our article. Now we can decide to make the images smaller. We can decide to change up the text. Once again, you need to put a lot of love into the content on your website or the content in your client's website. There will be real people clicking on your article from the search engines. You want to make sure that it makes sense and that you keep them on your website and make them more interested in your product. Because they're already searching for this keyword, their intention is to learn more about the best hiking water bottle. So here we need to make sure that we really do write about it. And the ChatGPT prompt gives us the basic content that we can further fine tune. We could rewrite all of it. Just make sure that it's quality content and it jives with what people are looking for. This is how we get results. Now, before moving on, what I want to do is just change this look a little bit. I don't love that it says by Robin and Jesper, that it says the date, and that it says uncategorized. One of the things we want to do when we're doing these articles for our Explore page is that we want to make them green. We don't want people to see here, oh, this was published, let's say, years ago. This must be outdated. No, we want it to be evergreen, and the way to make it evergreen is just to remove the date of the publication, especially when it's something like this that talks about why your product is the best product. So we're going to go up to customize, then we're going to go to blog, single post, and then we're going to scroll down and I'm going to remove the post categories. I'm going to remove the post date and I'm going to remove the post author. Now, if you have multiple people working in this company creating content, you want to keep the post author so that they have their own unique login and people can see who wrote that specific article. But for this website, it's just us and I don't want the author to be visible. This is a much nicer and cleaner display. And then finally, you can also change the look of your post. Now, this is the normal format of the post, but we can also make it even more narrow. And it looks like this. And we can make it even more stretched and looking like this. Now, for modern websites, the only thing I recommend is that you go with normal or narrow. The stretch is just not a good look overall, unless you're doing something really retro and niched. But generally, normal or narrow, and I tend to go with normal. And then I'm also going to go back and go into blog archives. Now the blog archives, it decides how the actual blog looks like, which is our explore part. So I'm going to click on explore and here we have our blog post right now. Now we can do a grid, meaning we would get the blog post popping up like this on the sides, as you can see to the left here. We can have a classic 2, classic 1, meaning with the classic 1, you have the image first and the headline under. With the classic 2, you have the headline first and then the image under. You can get a list, a masonry or a zigzag, and the zigzag is usually used for like newspaper websites or recipe websites generally, but of course don't be limited by that. If you like that design, you can go with it. What I personally love is the classic. And the reason I love it is because it just focuses at one article at a time. So we get this article and then to see the next article, we have to scroll. And with the scrolling, we already have them engaged. When we're using the grid, we just get a bunch of different articles popping up like this, too much content, and people get into analysis paralysis, in my experience. So I prefer the one at a time and then enticing to scroll sort of layout. And then, of course, just like before, we're going to go down to meta. We're going to remove the post categories and the post date. And then that's it. I'm going to go up and click on publish. Amazing. Well done. Now you understand how simple it is to, first of all, create SEO-friendly content and then SEO optimize that content. Of course, it's only simple once you know how to actually do it. You do it a couple of times and it turns into a routine. But now you have that capacity and you can start getting results. You can start creating more content, work yourself up in the rankings and start climbing up more and more difficult keywords, get more and more traffic, which means more and more sales, happier and happier clients. That's what it's all about. In the next lecture, we're going to talk about something called backlinks. And what backlinks basically are votes of confidence for your website that tells the search engines that, hey, this is a credible website. You can trust them. Rank them a little bit higher. So let's talk about how that works and how you can get more backlinks. See you in the next lecture.